Hi guys, and welcome back to the Inner Empress YouTube channel. My name is Sam and I am known as @the_Inner_Empress on YouTube and Instagram. If you are new to my channel, welcome. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is my little bubble of spirituality where I do tarot cards, pick a card readings. I explain a lot of spiritual aspects. I talk about things like past life meditations all over on my Instagram, and I'm going to bring that into my YouTube space as well. All types of things spiritual. So if you are into that type of content, then please hit the subscribe button down below. That would greatly help me out, and it's free to do so. And if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up, because that would also let me know the type of content that you're interested in, the type of stuff that you like. And I can better post videos that will make you feel happy and enjoy watching. So if you are not new to my channel and you are a returning subscriber, welcome back. Thank you so much for tuning in again. As you guys know, this is my birth chart astrology video that has been requested on my Instagram. Also, please don't mind the face. It's a lazy Sunday. It's Valentine's Day. Happy Valentine's Day, by the way, if you celebrate. And if you're single or in a relationship, I hope you have a wonderful day. I'm wearing my pink-ish kind of clothing right now. I got my pink nails going. Can't really see. But yeah, it's Sunday. It's Valentine's Day. I'm going out later tonight, and I don't want to put makeup on, to take it off, to just put it back on. So we're rocking with the natural hair. It's very frizzy. I took my puppy out for a walk. She made me a little bit sweaty. So this is just what we're working with. We are going to be talking about birth charts. I tried making this video earlier today, and I feel like I just want to make this about the placement, kind of go through and say your rising represents blank, your moon represents blank, okay? And kind of just give you a rundown of what each placement means, and then when you guys compare it to your chart, you'll be able to better understand how these signs play a part in your life. So if you guys are ready to watch, then just stay tuned and we'll get right into it. I'm sitting on the floor in a comfy little nest with my new ring light, so I hope you guys like it. So to get started, I think I didn't drink enough water, and I'm extremely caffeinated. I mean, I speak fast to begin with, but your girl's out of breath, and I can't breathe because I'm just like talking way too much. Like, bring it in. Sam, bring it in. So you'll Google birth chart, and the first thing that pops up is the free astrology birth chart report from Cafe Astrology. Now, some people might not agree with Cafe Astrology. They might think that it's not legit. I'm not doing a whole mapping out of zodiac signs and birth charts right now, because this is meant for people who are just getting into astrologies and birth charts, people that just want to learn the basics before they get into all of the deep, like, mapping out and everything else. So if this video is well received and you guys would like to see that, I will be more than happy to do a map out version, and I will also be more than happy to do a sidereal version. But for today, we're just going to be doing the tropical Cafe Astrology birth chart, because this is what helped me get into astrology and horoscope journey. It helped me better understand myself. Then I started doing it on my friends, and I was like, whoa, this thing is insane. And yes, it's like a generator online, but it does really explain a lot about your personality. It's super fun. So when you click on that link, it'll give you a space to type your name and then put your preferred pronoun. So I go by she. I will put my name Samantha. Put in your birthday. Mine's March 28th. Shout out to all my Aries queens and kings. Time, however, is extremely important, because without this, you won't get an accurate reading. You won't get your houses. You'll only see your planets, like your Mars is in blank, your Venus is in blank. But you also won't get your rising sign. And your rising sign is like how you come off to other people, what you come off as in the world. So your sun sign, a lot of people think like, oh, I'm such an Aries, or oh, I'm such a Leo, or oh, I'm such a Taurus. But you would be surprised that you are probably going to relate a lot more to your rising sign than you do your sun sign. And that's really important to know. So please try to get your accurate birth time. Text your parents, text your grandparents, find it on your birth certificate, whatever you need to do. But definitely get your accurate birth time. Then you're going to put in your birthplace. So when you hit submit, you can click on top. It says compatibility for lovers. You can find your horoscope. it kind of explains like how this chart is going to break down everything and kind of make it in a very clear-cut, easy to digest format. You can feel free to read through everything here. This video is going to be a very condensed short version of what the website says. So I would recommend scrolling down like past the chart, and it kind of explains like your sun in Aries means blank. Your rising and your sun combined means that this is the type of person that you are, and so on. But like I said, I'm just going to explain the placement, I'm just going to explain the placements and what they would represent for you. So your sun sign, we'll start off with that because it's the first thing. Sun sign would represent the month that you were born, okay? So for me, being born in March, my sun sign is Aries. The sun sign represents your deepest, truest qualities to yourself. This is like your personality, like at its truest form, and like how you really, your core beliefs and values. So for example, you would have like, you would look at what the stereotypical qualities are of your sign and then see how that relates to you. So a quick comparison would be like the stereotype of Aries is we have Aries rage, we like to be leaders, very competitive, quick talkers, a little bit obnoxious, like childlike, like we can be very immature sometimes. That would be like how I am deep down, like my truest self, which I can be all those things. So yeah, your sun would be your truest form personality-wise, if that makes sense. Your rising sign, that is how you come off to other people. So at first glance, first impression, this is what you come off as. So I love, because I'm so into all this stuff, I love guessing people's rising signs just based on their personality. Like if I meet somebody, my chiropractors, I would be like, you are definitely a blank rising because this, and this. Like your rising sign would be things that you do, how you act, how you communicate. So if you are extremely outgoing, super funny, love to be in the spotlight, love to crack jokes, I would pin you as a rising Gemini or a rising Leo. If you're very, very personal and private into yourself and quiet, I would probably pin you to be a Scorpio or an Aquarius, like just very reserved. And that doesn't mean that that's how you are all the time, but at first glance, you're not super social. You're not going out there and putting yourself out there. You're very like, I don't know, I got to see what's going on. I got to like scope out the scene a little bit. So your rising is how you come off to other people, how you communicate, how you behave, and how you, like your persona, your aura, how your confidence comes off. Then we have moon sign, represents your deepest emotions, how you handle your emotions at your calmest state. So not upset, not in an argument, like not overwhelmed or stressed, just how your emotions are. So for example, if you were a water sign, you're probably very emotional, you might cry a lot, that's just who you are. If you are an air sign, you're probably very logical and you're just like, nothing really gets to me, it is what it is, and you kind of keep it moving. So your moon sign would represent your truest emotions at your most calm state. So think of yourself at home, chilling on a Sunday like today. How is your emotion? What are your mannerisms? Are you hectic and all over the place, always doing something? Do you like to chill and relax? Are you more of an emotional person, not as much of an emotional person? Okay, so your moon represents your emotions. Then we have Mercury. So Mercury represents how you think and how you communicate. So this would be overall, not just in arguments, because Mars would be like how you handle your emotions and communicate when you're upset. But Mercury is your overall thought process and your overall communication. Do you speak clearly? Do you explain what you want, like without hesitation? Do you beat around the bush? Do you overthink? Do you focus on one task at a time? That is all ruled by Mercury. So depending on what your sign is in the Mercury placement, that can further explain why and how you think and communicate. So if you scroll down past the chart, it'll say like Mercury, and it'll kind of give you an example of Mercury placements, but then also what Mercury represents in your sign. Okay, next on the list we have Venus. So Venus represents your love life, your how you love, how you show love, and then also if you are into women, male or female, this would represent the type of personality that the woman that you're meant to be with will have. Does that make sense? So like my husband, his Venus is Taurus. So that would say that he attracts a woman that it has Taurus-like qualities. Until I really got into this birth chart, I never thought that, because I personally don't have Taurus in anywhere except my 5th house, which is like your family life, which actually that kind of makes sense, because your 5th house, which I'll get into, represents your family life, your home life, like the type of homemaker you're going to be in a relationship, and blah, blah, blah. So, Taurus energy would be like, they like to indulge. They like the nicer things in life. They're very, very caring and giving, and like very confident and sure of themselves. And I feel like people have always told me that that's how I can come off. I come off kind of strong sometimes. Other times I tap into that Pisces energy that I have in my chart. But I love food. Big Taurus thing. I'm a foodie. I love to indulge. If I had the money to go get a massage or go on vacation consistently, I would. Like, I love pampering and being taken care of and taking care of other people. And that's a big Taurus quality. So that represents me for my husband. So if you're into women, then this Venus placement would represent that whatever sign you have would represent the type of woman you would attract. Doesn't mean that it has to be her sign, but this is the personality that she would have. Would look at Jupiter for the male in your life if you are into men, female or male, it doesn't matter what you are, but the Jupiter would represent the male personality. Okay, so for Venus, that would represent the women, or how you love, how you give love, how you receive love, what kind of, are you romantic, are you not romantic, and so on. Mars represents your passions, your like career, like your drive to do things, your motivation, your anger, and your sexuality, in the bedroom with your loved one. So depending on the sign that you have, that would represent how you handle those things. So if you are a fire sign, especially Aries or Scorpio, because those two signs are ruled by Mars, if you have those in your Mars placement, then you're probably very hot-headed, very passionate, very into your sexuality and sensuality, which is awesome. So yeah, your Mars would represent that. Your Jupiter, like I said, would represent the male counterpart in your life, the type of man that you would attract, their personality, and also your luck. So I'm going to mention this one because I'm very blessed to have Sag and Jupiter, and I say that because Sagittarius is ruled by Jupiter. So Sagittarius are usually pretty lucky to begin with. They're very motivational. They like have a lot of drive going for them, very independent. But when it comes to their luck, they kind of always get like things just work out in their favor. And having Sagittarius, which is also my rising sign, in Jupiter, I have pretty good luck. Even like with finances or like home things, like you kind of sit there and you're like, wait, how is this happening? Like, how did I get so lucky that that exact dollar amount came into my bank account? Or how did I get so lucky that I was in the right place at the right time to find that house or that person? So Jupiter and Sag are a great combination, but Jupiter would rule your luck. So whatever sign you have there would be a really great indicator of your type of luck. So the worst, and I don't mean to say that to scare you or freak you out, but the worst placements for Jupiter would be Capricorn, Gemini, and Virgo. And then the best would be Cancers, Pisces, and Sagittarius. And I'm looking at my phone for my notes. You can be a Gemini and a Virgo and have good luck in Jupiter as well. It would just depend on your placements. But the worst would be Capricorn, Gemini, Virgo, and Scorpio. Okay? So if you have those, don't panic. I'm just putting that out there just so you guys know. But again, it would also play a part into all the other placements in your chart. Next, we would have Saturn. So Saturn placement would represent boundaries. I'm looking at my phone for my notes again. We have boundaries, integrity, how to work through limitations, adversity, and like struggles. So Saturn is kind of like the lesson teacher, or like what you need to learn. So whatever sign is in Saturn would represent the type of boundaries that you either need to work on, or what you lack in. Okay, so whatever sign that you have, and I'm sure Cafe Astrology will explain that as well, but whatever sign that you have in Saturn would represent the kind of lessons that you need to learn and what you need to work on. So for me, quick, I just want to throw it in. I know I said I wasn't going to, but I think it's easier to explain it with the sign. Mine is in Pisces, so I have little to no boundaries. I want to give, and I don't learn my lesson from that. I need to put more boundaries. I need to limit myself more. I need to figure out how to work through really tough situations consistently, not just sometimes. So that would be like what it means for me. So look at whatever your sign is in Saturn and then see like, okay, is there something I need to work on that would kind of match that sign? Or you could just read what's on Cafe Astrology. Okay, so next we have Uranus. So that would represent like the craziness in your life. Like which areas that you'll experience chaos, liberation, rebellion. Like this is anything but normal, anything but conventional. So for me, I have Capricorn. So I feel like Capricorn is very like by the book. But depending on what sign you have, it can show you what parts of your life you will rebel in, what parts of your life you will be like kind of loosey-goosey, down for a good time all the time. So like for me, I interpret it as Capricorn being my career and my finances, and I am very like loosey-goosey with that, and I'm like, it's fine, like whatever, we'll figure it out when we get there, and like that's not really the best situation, like not the best. And if you have Taurus in Uranus, or I keep using Taurus as an example, but let me think of something else. If you have a Virgo in Uranus, then maybe it's saying like in terms of your home and your space and your like organization skills, you might not be so organized. You might just be like loosey-goosey with it. Do you know what I mean? So that's what Uranus represents. Next up, we have Neptune. So Neptune in your birth chart would represent the areas of life that can bring up confusion. Neptune is all about illusions. So this could be whatever placement you have, whatever sign you have there, could be the type of area. Think of what the sign represents. Like, again, mine is Capricorn. Capricorn represents career, finances. So that can kind of get like mumbo jumbo up for you. It could be hard to discern reality from idealism, I guess would be like the best way to say it. Like this would be the type of placement where you might view it one way, but like it's not really like that. It's kind of making you feel illusioned. Illusioned? Is that a word? So Neptune would represent all the illusions and things that might throw you for a loop in your life. Pluto would represent the areas of your life where you'll face intense powers of creation and destruction. So Pluto is ruled by Scorpio. In tarot, Scorpio and Pluto rule the Tower card. So the Tower card is all about breaking you down to the crumbs and then building you back up stronger with a better foundation. So that is what Pluto represents in your birth chart. So whatever sign you have there would represent the type of lessons that you would have to learn. Compressed spirituality, your compressed self-worth, self-doubt, like all those types of energies and efforts that you have within you, that's where it would be hidden is Pluto. And Pluto is the type of sign that forces you to look at the intense parts of whatever sign is in that placement. So look at the sign that's there, and whatever is like the most intense version of that sign or the most spiritual version of that sign, that is what's really within you. And Pluto just teaches you to look at it. And then we have Lilith. So Lilith is, I personally love Lilith. People think Lilith is like not the coolest or like a little bit intimidating, but Lilith is like your deepest, darkest, like sexual desires and like, and occult interests and like the primitive, rawest form of yourself would be in Lilith. So whatever sign that you have there, that would represent your most primitive self, your sexual desires and fantasies, your shadow self. So if anyone hasn't done shadow work, that would be like looking into traumas and baggage and like past life karmas and like connections and everything. Like you just look into all of the darkest parts of yourself, work through it so your shadow can become one with your light, and then you can become the most empowered, sovereign version of yourself. So whatever sign is in your Lilith, that's going to represent the type of fetishes, the type of primitive impulses that you have, the type of shadow side that you would have. It's a lot of like secrecy, the things that you wouldn't just openly talk to somebody else about, or like you wouldn't openly discuss in public. Like this is like your deepest, darkest version of yourself, which I feel like if everyone tapped into that and really worked through their spirit, or they tapped into that and really worked through their shadow side and made everything kind of mesh into one, that is such an amazing and empowering thing to experience, to be really in touch with your Lilith side. And then lastly, in the planets, we have the North Node. So the North Node represents the karmic lessons that you need to learn in this life based on your past life. So your South Node represents your past life, and your North Node represents your present life. My past life would be in Taurus. My past life South Node would be in Taurus. My present North Node would be in Scorpio. So in my past life, I will read it to you from the website. Okay, so the North Node would represent I interpret it as your past life and present life karma. The way that Cafe Astrology represents it is our overdeveloped character traits. We are talented here, but if we overdo this area of life or hold on to these traits, we may feel stagnant. So this is something that we need to work on to feel balance and fulfillment. But the reason why I say it represents past life and present life for me is this sign. Think of like whatever sign you have in your North Node, right? I'm sure that, like, for example, mine's Scorpio. Scorpio's technically, like, in astrology, it's not like the best luck to have. It's constantly learning a lesson, constantly being pushed and broken down to learn something new. And that's what your soul signed up to do, right? So in this lifetime, I have definitely learned a bunch of lessons that I did not want to learn. Well, I didn't want to learn. My body didn't want to learn, but my soul signed up for it. But they were hard, they were tough, they were painful, but like that's what I had to do. And all of these things I needed to learn are opposite of what my South Node is. So my Taurus in South Node would be somebody who's very, very, like, has a great, great family life. Everybody's together. Finances are great. They are thriving. They are treating themselves. They're, like, being pampered all the time. In this life with my Scorpio, I had a broken home, meaning I didn't grow up with my mom and my dad. I grew up with my mom and my grandparents. My dad left. My stepdad came into our life. That was a tough relationship. Then I had a stepbrother. I had half siblings from my dad. I had my brother from my mom and my stepdad. Like, it wasn't the perfect family dynamic, like, on paper. Had a great childhood, had a great life. But I'm sure my past lives, the Taurus aspect would be I had the great family life. I had my mom, my dad, my siblings, the white picket fence and all. I had money then. Now I'm blessed and abundant, but like growing up when I was younger, learning how to handle with money, I wasn't good with it. I was always living paycheck to paycheck. I was stressing about money. I had negative connotations about money. Like, that's why I say that the North Node and the South Node represent your past life and your present life. But this is your talents, and it's teaching you a lesson, again, of we're not going to overdo it. So being in Scorpio, for me, that would be my intuitive side, my spiritual side, my occult side. I am talented at that. I learned that at a later age in my life. But if I overdo it, I end up shutting down, and I'm like, I can't do this anymore. Like, I can't get the messages. I can't connect. I can't do it. I'm just too overstimulated. So that would make a lot of sense. So whatever sign that you have in that placement, that would represent your truest talent. And if you do too much of it, you feel like you can't progress. You feel like your creativity shuts down. You can't get ideas, etc., etc. Okay, so that is it for all of the planets. Now if we go into the houses, I'm going to pull up my notes. So I have my notes for the houses because this I can't remember off the top of my head. So we have, here we go. Okay. Your first house represents your rising sign. So your personality, how you come off to people. Your second house would cover all matters related to your material and physical environment. So taste, smells, food. It rules income, money, and self-esteem. So each house is ruled by a sign, but the sign that you have in your chart might not necessarily be that sign. So for example, the second house is ruled by Taurus, but I have Aquarius in it. You may have Gemini, Libra, Sagittarius, Cancer, whatever you have. Think of how that sign in your house is compatible with Taurus. So that would kind of give you a rundown on how smooth or how easily that house would work out for you. So because it's ruled, or it represents income and money, self-esteem, material and physical environment, if you have something that's not super compatible with Taurus, maybe that type of stuff is a little bit difficult. You have a low self-esteem, you have trouble with money, you are a picky eater, like maybe you're very picky about the areas that you're in. But if you had something that's very compatible, like Scorpio, or if you had Taurus, then maybe you just have like great self-esteem, you're financially abundant, which everybody can be financially abundant, but you guys know what I mean. So, you got to see, I'll tell you what each house is ruled by and then compare that to the sign that you have in your house as well. So moving on to house 3. So the third house is all forms of communication. So obviously this is ruled by Gemini because it's all about communication, talking, thinking, devices, like anything electronic. It covers siblings, neighborhoods, travel, teachers, community affairs, etc. So the third house sign, think of how that's compatible with Gemini. If it's something that is compatible, then all of these things would be pretty easy for you. You can communicate easily, you think very clearly, you probably have great relationships, you travel a lot, like your travel always goes well, you find awesome neighbors, like you just get along with that type of vibe, okay? If you're a teacher, it could be something that you're extremely passionate about and that's like your true talent. If it's something that's not compatible with Gemini, not that you can't be good, but these areas can be a struggle, like I said. Okay, so the third house represents all forms of communication, talking, thinking, and electronics. And then under that would be everything I mentioned. So siblings, neighborhoods, travel, libraries, teachers, how you communicate, how you involve yourself, what you do in those fields. Okay, so the fourth house, ruled by Cancer. So the fourth house is the foundation of all things. So that's your strength, your base, your strong foundation. It is your home, your privacy, your security, your parents, specifically your mom, because Cancer is the nurturing, mother-like energy. So this would represent your mother's, like how you and your mother get along. Let me see. Your children, your own mother's abilities, nurturing, and TLC. So think of the sign that's in this house and how it is compatible with Cancer. If it's not compatible, then you may have like a rough relationship with your mom. It hasn't always been the easiest. Maybe you have issues with nurturing, like you hate, I don't want to say hate, maybe you have trouble being nurtured by other people because you never got that as a kid, but you love to give to other people. Maybe you have trouble giving yourself TLC. Maybe you just have like I don't want to say a weak base of security or like form of security, but trust is an issue for you. Like it takes a lot for you to feel secure and stable and trusted or trust somebody else. Okay? So the fourth house represents your foundation, your base, your mother, your children, taking care of yourself, etc. The fifth house is ruled by Leo, and it governs self-expression, drama, attention, romance, fun, and play. So it's ruled by Leo. So think of whatever sign is in that house for you. How do they compare to Leo? How are they compatible with Leo? Is it a match? Is it the worst compatibility ever? Depending on that, once again, we'll explain how your self-expression is, how your creativity is, how your romance is. If it's something that's very compatible, you can be extremely sure of yourself. You can be super dramatic, but like in a good way, like animated and fun and outgoing, and like you are very romantic and you can have great relationships. If it's something that isn't compatible with Leo, maybe you are not getting along as well in your relationships. You've had a lot of relationships that didn't work out. Maybe you can't really express yourself the right way. Maybe you're dramatic, but in the opposite sense, where it becomes like a thing every time you have a dramatic outburst. So then that would just be telling you, like, hey, let's focus on altering this type of behavior. And then the 6th house represents health and service. It represents schedules, organizations, fitness, healthy living, helping, etc. So this is ruled by Virgo, because Virgo is all about organizing, planning, health, being your best self, being very by the book, having your ducks in a row. So see what sign see what sign is in this placement, this house, and see how it is compatible with Virgo. If it's something like Gemini or Taurus or something that gets along with Virgo, then this is stuff that's really good for you. This is stuff that you are a planner, you are an organizer, you do eat healthy, you love to take care of yourself. If it's something that's not really compatible with Virgo, then maybe this is like an area of your life that you struggle with. You struggle with eating clean or eating healthy. You struggle with getting activity in. You struggle with being organized. So I don't want you guys, if you are having placements that aren't totally compatible with the signs that they're ruled by, or the houses are ruled by, I don't want you to feel like, wow, my life sucks. Like, take this as a way to just explain, or take this as a way to understand better and then know where you need to fix the problem. 7th house, ruled by Libra, it's the sector of relationships and other people, partnerships, relationships, marriage. So again, you're going to look at the sign in that house, compare it to Libra. Depending on what it is, that is going to tell you how easy or how difficult these areas of your life will be. I'm going to kind of go through the rest pretty quickly because it's all the same thing. You're just going to compare the sign to the sign that is ruling that house. So we have the 8th house that is ruled by Scorpio. That is the birth, death, sex, transformation, mysteries, and bonding at the deepest level, property and money, investments. So the 8th house represents all of that. So if you have a sign that is compatible with Scorpio, then all of that it's all kosher, it's good. You're like good in that area. And if it's not compatible, then maybe you have trouble finding a home, or maybe you have trouble letting parts of yourself go or past things go. Maybe your ego gets in the way, etc., etc. The 9th house, ruled by Sag, it's of the higher mind, expansion, knowledge, broadcasting, luck, risk, adventure. So the 9th house represents your freedom and your, like your ethics and your morals and like your higher knowledge. So if you have something that's compatible with Sag, maybe you love learning, maybe you love exploring, maybe you love all of that. And if it's not, then maybe you're just like, I don't really care about travel. Like, go out and expand my knowledge. That's fine. But in your house, your 9th house, and compare it to Sag's compatibility. But again, the 9th house represents expansion, international travel, languages, inspiration, higher mind, luck, risk, adventure, blah, 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 blah. Then, 10th house, ruled by Capricorn. It is fame, public image, achievements, fathers, fatherhood, authority. So look at the placement here and compare it to Capricorn. Okay, so it's also called the midheaven, and that would kind of give you an idea of what kind of career path you're going to go down. So depending on what your sign is, you can Google like careers for Libra or careers for Aries, and then see if that is the type of career that you've been thinking of, or if that's the type of career that you're actually in and that you are really good at. All right, then we have the 11th house, ruled by Aquarius, and that governs teams, friendships, society, technology, networking, humanitarian causes, astronomy, sudden events, inventions, futuristic, all that stuff. So like working to better the future, inventions of technology to better the future, human rights, okay, things like that. That's what this house rules. So see what kind of sign you have there and compare it to Aquarius, and see if they are good together or not. Because if they're great together, maybe this is something that is very passionate for you. It's something that you care a lot about. You want to better the future for those to come. And then if it's not compatible, then maybe that's just not your cup of tea. Maybe that's not something that you're really interested in. And that's totally fine. And then lastly, we have the 12th house, which is ruled by Pisces. So the 12th house represents the final stages of a project, tying up loose ends, afterlife, the old age, and dying, surrendering to life and things that happen to you. This also represents creativity, the arts, journaling, and the subconscious mind. So whatever you have in your 12th house, compare that to Pisces, see how they are compatible. Maybe this will tell you that you are extremely, extremely gifted in spirituality. And then if it's not a sign that's super duper spiritual or super compatible, that could just mean that think of the qualities of that sign and compare it to what I was just saying. How the sign in your 12th house compares to that. So that took me a while, and I hope that it wasn't too drawn out. I hope that it was pretty clear. And I want you guys to apply it to your own birth chart and zodiac signs. So if this is a video that you guys liked, then please let me know by giving me a thumbs up, and I can definitely go into side reel. I can go into more detail for the birth chart video. I can do a mapping. You just let me know. But I do hope that this was helpful. I hope that it kind of broke it down a little bit for you so that you can understand what each placement means and the representation for it. And if you liked it, like I said, please give it a thumbs up, hit that subscribe button. You can leave a comment below saying what you liked or what you want to see next. That would really help me out. And I really hope you guys enjoyed it. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.